This is a 2024 UPSC CSE CSAT question. UPSC never repeats a question, but there is a pattern. UPSC always finds a way to connect its questions to previous year's papers. Ignoring PYQs and the concept behind them could be a very risky move, and you cannot afford to do that in this exam. So before I reveal the solution, take just 2 minutes. Pause the video, challenge yourself, and try to solve it. Ready? Let's go. Got the answer? Or at least tried? Maths is like swimming. You learn by doing. If you haven't tried solving it, pause now and give it a shot. I will first show you the solution without any explanation, then break down the entire concept. If the simple solution satisfies your curiosity, great. Use your time wisely. But if you want to master this topic and its high chance variations, stick around. You won't regret it. Now here is a simple solution. Now let's dive deep into the concept behind this question, because this is exactly where the next year's questions could come from. Stay with me for an edge in the exam. Let's begin.
Now the concept which you need to solve this problem is some basic idea about cubes and some imagination. So before solving this problem, let's see something else. Imagine if I take a simple line, okay? I cannot cut this line this way. The only way I can cut is through this way. So if I'm cutting this once, if I'm cutting one cut, I'm going to get two pieces. Okay, so what's it happen? Whenever I'm having one cut, I'm supposed to get 1 plus 1, that is 2 pieces. Or let's take another example. I'll take the same line, I'm cutting it 2 times. I'm going to get 1, 2, 3 pieces. I'm having 2 cuts, and that will give me 2 plus 1, that is 3 pieces. Okay, now what if I have a line and I cut it like 4 times? If I cut it 4 times, I will have 4 plus 1, that is 5 pieces. If I cut it, let's say 10 times, I will have 10 plus 1, that is 11 pieces. If I cut it, let's say 200 times, 200 cuts, that means I will have 200 plus 1, 201 pieces. Now this is a basic understanding of cuts. Now when you look at a square, see, the word square itself means something. We'll see how that's going to reflect here. If I'm cutting it once like this, I'm going to get 2 pieces. The same condition, if I'm cutting once, I'm getting 2 pieces. But this is a square, it's a multi-dimensional thing. That means I can cut it this way from up to down. I can also cut it horizontally. Now here things will change. To find how many pieces you are going to get, what you have to do is you have to see how many cuts has been happened from each side. From this side one cut, from this side one cut. That means only one cut per side. There are, see, I know there are 4 sides for a square, but if you look at it, the parallel sides, it goes like this. Says you can only have 2 cuts, one cut per side. So one cut per side will result you. We already know that one cut usually gives us 1 plus 1 or 2 pieces. But here one cut per side is happening and it's a square. Therefore, you're going to get 2 square or 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's just take the same scenario. Let's take another square. If I'm cutting it 2 times per side, 2 times per side, what will happen? 2 cuts per side. What's going to happen is I'm supposed to get 2 plus 1 if it is a line, but this is a square. Therefore, I'm going to get 2 plus 1 square or 3 square, that is 9 pieces. Let's see, 9 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what's the equation which we can make? Number of cuts per side. Number of cuts per side. Let's call that n. And if it is a square, then I will have n plus 1 whole square pieces. Okay. So if I give you a simple question, if I have a square and I cut it 5 times per side from one side, one, two, three, four, five. 5 times one side, one, two, three, four, five. 5 times another side. I'm going to get how many pieces? 5 plus 1 whole square, that is 6 square, that is 36 pieces. If I'm having uh, another square, if I cut it into 9 cuts per side, 9 cuts per side,
Oh, what's the answer? You guys tell me.
I'm going to get 9 plus 1 whole square or 10 square, that is 100 equal smaller squares. Now, here we have to see one more thing. Even though I'm saying there is only 2 cuts per side, one, two, one, two. There's 2 cuts per side. In total, if you see how many cuts are there, we can say that 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 total cuts. Okay, since it is a square, it will have 2 dimensions, first dimension and second dimension. You're cutting once per side, per dimension. So that since there are 2 dimensions, if I want to see the total number of cuts, I have to see number of cuts per side or number of cuts per dimension multiplied by 2. Therefore, there will be 4 cuts. Okay, so look at it. There are multiple steps which are being said over here. 2 cuts per side. 1 cut, 2 cut, 1 cut, 2 cut, 2 cuts per side. Number of pieces which are forming is 9. That is 2 plus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's another thing. And the final thing is total number of cuts. 2 cuts per side or 2 cuts per dimension. But in total, 1, 2, 3, 4 cuts are there. Let's see the similar scenario when it comes to our old cuts. Here also. Number of cuts per side or per dimension is 1. 1 in this dimension, 1 in this dimension. But total number of cuts is 1 into 2, that is 2. 2 cuts in total. Okay. And the number of pieces per dimension cuts plus 1 whole square, like 1 plus 1 whole square. So if I ask the same question for here, I told you there are 5 cuts per side or per dimension, and you told me there will be 5 plus 1 square or 6 square or 36 pieces. That is true. But how many total cuts would have happened here? Total number of cuts.
Find me the answer.
Cuts. Total number of cuts would be 5 into 2. 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. That's total 10 cuts would be there. Here, 9 cuts will give you 100 pieces. 9 cuts per dimension or per side. Total number of cuts will
Find me the answer.
be 9 into 2, that is 18. Okay, one more question. You have to find me all the informations. Total number of pieces and uh, total cuts. Okay, if I say if I'm cutting something for 7 cuts per dimension or per side, then what's gonna happen? Find me the answer. Okay, I'm going to say if you need more time, just pause the video. 7 cuts per dimension. That means 7 plus 1 pieces in each side, therefore 7 plus 1 square or 8 square or 64 total squares, smaller squares. and total number of cuts, 7 cuts in one direction, 7 cuts in other direction. Total you'll have 7 into 2, total 14 cuts. Okay, one more question, one more question. Let's say if I'm saying there are total 11 cuts per dimension, 11 cuts per dimension, then what's the situation is? I'm going to say the answer. If you need time, pause the video. 11 plus 1 whole square or 12 square or 144 smaller pieces will be there, smaller pieces of squares, and the total cuts which we will be having is 11 into 2, that is 22. Hope you got it. So n number of cuts per side, n plus 1 whole square total equal pieces, 2n total cuts. Now let's take the same thing, but let's expand it to a three-dimensional object. Okay, a cube. A cube is a three-dimensional object. Square was a two-dimensional object. Here, three-dimensional object are there. Therefore, the difference which is going to happen here is that this term, instead of square, it will become cube. This term, since there are three dimensions, it is going to become 3. That's the only difference which is going to happen. Let's see how things going to form. So if there is a cube, if I cut it from one dimension, I'm going to get two pieces. Same situation, one cut will give me 1 plus 1, two pieces. Okay, but we have multiple dimension. I can cut it like this, I can cut it like this, I can cut it like this. Three dimension. In three dimension, if I'm cutting, okay, three dimension I'm cutting. Therefore, I'm saying that one cut per dimension or per side.
It's gonna give me 1 plus 1 whole cube or 2 cube or 8 pieces.
Total number of cuts will be, here three dimensions are there, therefore 3 into 1, there will be 3 cuts. First cut, see, it's like cutting a cake. Okay, let's cut it this way. If I'm cutting once, if I'm taking a big knife and cutting it like one go, this is one single cut. Okay, this entire piece will go. That is one cut, two cut, three cut. So total 3 cuts. Now let's understand this once more. Now one cut per in this side. If I'm taking one cut, that is one cut. Similarly, one more cut. Similarly, one more cut. That's it. Three dimension, I did 3 cuts. So one cut per side or per dimension. Total I'm having 1 into 3 or 3 into 1. That is total 3 cuts. Total cuts are 3. And total number of pieces are 1 plus 1 whole cube. 1 plus 1 whole cube, 2 cube, that is 8. So the same situation I can convert into an equation. It will be, I can say that n cuts per side, it's going to give me 3 times n, 3n total cuts, and number of pieces which I'm going to get is n plus 1 whole square, whole cube, since it's a cube. Now let's the same scenario, let's take a new cube. I'm going to cut it 2 cuts. I have to have 2 cuts per dimension. Okay, so you have to find out what's going to happen. You have to tell me everything. Total number of pieces which will be happening, total cuts which is going to take place. Okay, according to our equation. going to say the answer. If you need time, pause the video. So 2 cuts per dimension. Therefore, I can say that since it is a cube, total cuts will be 3 into 2 or 6 cuts. Okay, and total number of pieces will be 2 plus 1 whole cube or 3 cube, that is 27 pieces. All good? Let's see if that's a scenario. I'm cutting it 3 times. 1, 2 cuts in this side, 2 cuts in this side, and 2 cuts in this side. Equal cuts. Okay, let's assume it's equal cuts. And then I'm going to get, okay, there are too many cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 25, 26, 27 pieces are there. Okay, you see. So now you can answer this question. What is the least possible number of cuts required to cut a cube into 64 identical pieces? Now from here, one thing which you would have observed is that all the number of pieces when you're cutting for a cube will be in form of a cube. Okay.
Pause the video now and find the answer yourself. You have all the required information to solve this answer by yourself.
So let's see what 64 cube stands for. What is 64 cube? You can see that 1 cube is 1, 2 cube is 8, 3 cube is 27, and 4 cube is 64. Therefore, you can say that 64 is 4 cube. And you clearly know that when you have a cube, and if you are getting 64 identical pieces, smaller cubes, that means I can write the same thing as n plus 1 whole cube. So n plus 1 whole cube is equal to 4 cube, or I can say that n plus 1 whole cube is equal to 3 plus 1 whole cube, or I can say that n plus 1 is equal to 3 plus 1, or n is equal to 3. That means they have did 3 cuts per side. 3 cuts per side. This is the cuts per side. You know, if there are 3 cuts, n cuts per side, we already know that the equation will be, the total number of sides will be n plus 1 whole cube. That's the same thing which you found here also. 3 plus 1 whole cube. That is 4 cube. That many number of pieces will be there. But the story doesn't end over here. The question is asking what is the least possible number of cuts or total number of cuts. This is 3 cuts per side or per dimension. Since it is a cube, we know that to get the total cuts, all you have to do is 3 times n, or 3 times number of cuts per side. That is 3 into 3, which is 9. Clear? Now, I'm going to give you one more question, slight variation of this question. Required number of cuts instead of 64, let's say I'm going to say 343 identical pieces have happened. Now, what's the answer? Find the answer. Let's assume there's an option. You can figure it out. So I'm going to tell the answer. If you want time, pause the video, okay? I'm going to tell the answer. So we know that n plus 1 whole cube is the total number of pieces, that is 343. And if you search for some time, you will find that 343 is nothing but 7 cube. So I can write it as 7 cube is equal to n plus 1 whole cube. Or I can say n plus 1 is equal to 7. Therefore, n is equal to 7 minus 1, or n is equal to 6. So if number of cuts per side is 6, that means there will be n plus 1 whole cube, or 7 cube, or 343 identical pieces. Therefore, the total number of cuts will be 6 into 3, which is 18. Clear? You need one more problem? Okay. One more problem. It's a simple problem. So imagine something is in 1331 total pieces. 1331 total pieces. Okay. Just find out how many cuts were there, how many total number of cuts were there, or minimum number of cuts. I'm going to solve the answer. If you need the time, please pause the video. So we know that total pieces will be n plus 1 whole cube, and that is 1331. And 1331 is nothing but 11 cube. So n plus 1 whole cube is equal to 11 cube. Therefore, n plus 1 is equal to 11. And I can say that n is equal to 11 minus 1, or 10. Since each side we are cutting 10 times, total number of cuts will be 3n, or 3 into 10, or 30. So that's it. That's it. Next question. And one more thing, the same problem can be done with imagination. Absolutely imagine, you don't need any other equation. And of course, you will be able to do that. Just keep practicing. Okay. Thank you. See you in the next question.